And now, members and advisors, it is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to the first general session of the 2021 Florida HOSA Virtual State Leadership Conference. Before we personally introduce our state officer team, please sit back and enjoy this video highlighting our state officers. Members, advisors, and guests, introducing your HOSA State Leadership Team. From the University of South Florida, here is your state parliamentarian, Keyshawn Davis. And from the University of South Florida, your State Southern Vice President Secondary, China Simpo. From the University of Central Florida, your Northern Vice President Post-Secondary, Joshua Hanlon. From the University of South Florida, your Northern Vice President Secondary, Neha Danaturi. And from the University of Florida, your President-elect, Ria Patel. And also from the University of Florida, your State President, Varsha Kalaju. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your Florida HOSA State Leadership Team. Woohoo!
This, the first general session of the 2021 Virtual State Leadership Conference of Florida HOSA Future Health Professionals will now come to order. Members, advisors, and guests, on behalf of your state leadership team and the Florida HOSA Board of Directors, it gives me great pleasure as your state president to welcome you to our first, and hopefully last, Virtual State Leadership Conference. Though this is not what our traditional conferences have looked like, the spirit of HOSA still shines strong, and we are all grateful that we can still be together while still maintaining social distancing. Today is an exciting day as we look ahead and envision what is in store for our future as an organization. Because of active members like you, the Florida HOSA membership is stronger than ever. The theme for this year's VSLC is Unlock Your Potential. Just think, there have been thousands of Florida HOSA members like yourselves who over the past 43 years were sitting where you are now. They came to the State Leadership Conference to gain leadership, meet exciting people, and have a great experience. Many of these members have fulfilled their goals and become successful leaders in the healthcare profession. It is exciting to think that each of us, along with the thousands of students who will follow the same footsteps in the future, have the potential to be the healthcare leaders of the future. As you participate in this conference, keep in mind that throughout your life, you will be able to utilize all the knowledge and experiences you have learned through Florida HOSA and this VSLC. As we take this journey together, remember that we are not successful by dwelling on our past, but only by learning from it, while we place the focus on our future. Good luck and have a great conference.
Thank you, Varsha. Please join the state officers as we pledge our allegiance to the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
To begin with, please welcome our Florida HOSA Board of Directors Chairperson, Ms. Janine Playback, with a welcome message to you all.
Welcome, Florida HOSA, to the opening of our virtual state leadership conference. Who would ever think that we would be doing this virtually? However, in this last year, we've all been through so much. First of all, I want to thank our state officers, Mr. DeVault, and the state office for managing to get this conference to all of us. It has been a whirlwind of the last 2 years of being your chair. My name is Janine Playback. I am the chair until July for the state office. In June of 2019, when I became chair of Florida HOSA, I thought we would be having a state leadership conference at the Marriott in person, and little did I know that when the pandemic started in February, we as an executive board would be deciding whether we would have an in-person state leadership conference. It was really hard to cancel last year's state leadership conference because we all know how hard you worked, how hard all of us as teachers and advisors have worked, but it was the best thing to do. And then here we go, we start school in the fall, again virtually for most of us. And again, we had to make that painful decision to do a virtual conference this year. As chair of Florida HOSA, of course, we all want to do what's best for our leadership and for our students, advisors. And we feel that that was the best thing we could have done for you. I want to thank the advisors, first of all, and all of us as an advisor know that it has been a very challenging year for us. But through your diligence and commitment, it has been amazing that we as an organization are in a very good position right now. And we thank you for encouraging your students to be very active in HOSA this year. Our state leadership conference that we are running this year is almost 2/3 of what it would have been if we were in person. It is amazing that we are at where we are right now with all the challenges that we have gone through this year. And for that, I am eternally grateful for your leadership as teachers, advisors, and for the students. I'm very thankful that you have continued to bring HOSA into your life and into your classroom. Now let's look to the future. As a board of directors, we will be meeting in the near future, and our goal is to try to get us to where we were in 2019. Mr. DeVault and the board of directors will do everything possible to try to get us to have an in-person FLDA. Definitely, we would love to have any leadership that we have in person, including, of course, next year, SLC. But that again is all predicated on the fact that we don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic or what your school districts will allow us to do. Again, I am eternally grateful for the opportunity to be your chair this year. I commend everyone for making the efforts in this unbelievably difficult time to bring HOSA into your classrooms, teachers. I am so eternally grateful. I know as an advisor, that again is something else we have on our plate, but how much joy does it give to the students to accomplish what they have done, and for us as teachers and advisors to see what HOSA does and how it does bring changes in their lives. Thank you so much for attending virtual SLC. And I look forward to seeing everybody in person in the fall if that is possible. And I know we will do everything we can to make that happen. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Playback, for your service, and we will be recognizing you for your hard work by sending you an engraved crystal obelisk with your name and your years of service. Thank you again. As a member of Florida HOSA, you are a vital necessity for the success of an organization dedicated to excellence. We build this excellence by building a foundation of young professionals with leadership and set goals in mind. The growth you will experience through your participation in Florida HOSA is the base upon which you will expand your knowledge, and thus success will follow. To have a deeper understanding of how Florida HOSA can foster this growth, you should learn the symbolism of the HOSA emblem and give deep thought to the meaning behind the words of the HOSA Creed. Mr. State Parliamentarian, what is the mission of HOSA?
The mission of HOSA is to empower HOSA future health professionals to become leaders in the global health community through education, collaboration, and experience.
Madam State Northern Vice President Secondary, what does HOSA provide?
HOSA provides a unique program of leadership development, motivation, and recognition exclusively for secondary, post-secondary, adult, and collegiate students enrolled in health science programs. HOSA is 100% healthcare.
Mr. North Vice President Post-Secondary, what is the purpose of HOSA?
The purpose of the HOSA organization is to develop leadership and technical HOSA skill competencies through a program of motivation, awareness, and recognition, which is an integral part of the health science educational instructional program.
Madam Southern Vice President Secondary, what are some of the goals of HOSA?
To encourage individual and group achievement, to develop an understanding of current healthcare issues, environmental concerns, and survival needs of the community, the nation, and the world, to encourage involvement in local, state, and national healthcare and education projects, to support health science education instructional objectives, and to promote career opportunities in healthcare, to support health science education instructional objectives.
Madam President-elect, what is the 2021 International Leadership Conference theme?
The 2020-2021 International Leadership Conference theme is Unlock Your Potential.
Members and advisors, would you please listen to the words of our creed, which highlight the positive attributes of Florida HOSA? I recognize the universal need for quality, compassionate healthcare. I understand the importance of academic excellence, skills training, and leadership development in my career pathway. I believe through service to my community and to the world, I will make the best use of my knowledge and talents. I accept the responsibility of a health professional and seek to find my place on a team equally committed to the well-being of others. Therefore, I dedicate myself to promoting health and advancing healthcare as a student, a leader, an educator, and a member of HOSA Future Health Professionals. I will now call the roll of officers. Officers, will you respond to the roll by stating the duties of your office? The parliamentarian, Keyshawn Davis.
As parliamentarian, I monitor official meetings and assure the rights of all to be heard wherever HOSA members meet and business is transacted.
The vice presidents, Neha Dantuluri, Joshua Hanlon, and China Simpo.
It is the duties of the vice presidents to serve in a capacity as directed by the president, and we preside over the organization of meetings in the absence of the president.
Coordinate activities of the regional presidents, as well as serve on the nominating committee.
Help to coordinate breakout sessions and skits for FLDA for maximum learning potential. And we also do whatever our state director tells us to do, such as greet you all upon arrival, meet with advisors, or take a pie in the face for charity. We love you, Lloyd.
President-elect, Riya Patel.
As President-elect, I am to assume the leadership of this organization in the President's absence. Furthermore, it is my duty to work closely with the State President and to prepare myself for the responsibilities of serving as State President for the following year. Madam President, Varsha Katoju.
As president, I preside over all state and board meetings of Florida HOSA Future Health Professionals, and to be responsible for its progress during my term in office. It is an honor to represent you all, and I thank you for this opportunity. We are honored to have you with us tonight, some very special and distinguished guests who over the years have devoted their efforts to help promote the purpose and goals of HOSA. We would also like to express our thanks to all of you for your commitment and support to Florida HOSA. We would ask that Sricharan Fasala, our International Executive Council President-elect and past Florida HOSA State President, have some remarks he would like to share with Florida HOSA.
Hello, Florida HOSA. I'm super ecstatic to be talking to the future of healthcare from my very own home state. It is both exciting and unprecedented to be seeing you all virtually at the Florida HOSA's first ever virtual state leadership conference. Now, since it's been proven that most people will remember one of the first points and the last points you make the best, I want to preface by saying this. A good leader leads, but a great leader serves. This has been a guiding principle that I've had the privilege of not only learning through my time in state office, but it's something I've continued to implement in all areas of my life. The simple line is perhaps one of the best definitions of what it means to be a leader. Now, to understand this, we need to travel back in time to when I was serving on Florida HOSA's state officer team. Unsurprisingly, it was another rainy day in the gloomy town of Alachua, located right off the swamp of Gainesville. I remember the car taking a right as we parked in front of a few office buildings, one of which had a beautiful brand I immediately recognized, Florida HOSA. Little did I know that this office would be the place of major growth and development for the next 2 years of my life. I took a quick breath before I opened the glass door and continued into the office. I distinctly recall the first thing my state advisor talked to us about after a quick welcome. He congratulated us for serving a leadership role within the state association and for winning the hearts of many members at SLC. As he spoke, my team and I proudly smiled as we bathed in the grandeur words of our advisor. But the glistening smiles quickly turned to faces of curiosity and astonishment when he said, "The state office is not about you." At the time, it didn't make perfect sense. This was the state office HQ and we were the state officers. What did he mean? As he continued to talk, he mentioned something that stuck with me till this day. He said, "I'm confident that all of you have the potential to lead. The members elected you for that reason as they believe you have the capacity in you. But what this organization, the state office, and most importantly, the members need from you is your ability to serve. A good leader leads, the process of managing your role on a team to execute daily tasks or the responsibilities of the role you fill. But a great leader serves. Service goes beyond the superficial layers of what it means to be a leader. Service keeps the community you serve at the core of your actions. Every decision, thought, and action you take with regards to that role in that organization needs to revolve around the group you serve, your members." When I was first introduced to this concept, my entire philosophy on leadership had completely changed. I've realized the members of an organization that elect you into a leadership position appreciate your talents and hope you will lead them forward. As an individual in that position, you would only fulfill that role when your leadership is built around a mindset of service to your members, organization, or community. Now, to see how leadership falls into all facets of life, I want to introduce you to the Golden Circle model invented by one of the leadership gurus, Simon Sinek. Why, how, what? This simple diagram explains the difference between leaders who lead and the leaders who serve. Let's define the terms. Every individual or organization knows what it is that they do, or the goals that they're attempting to accomplish. The what? The how is typically what sets you apart, your unique selling proposition, how you do it, the methods to your madness, if you will. The why is why you do what you do, your purpose. It's not to make money or improve as an individual. Those are results. The Why is your belief or the purpose that makes you get out of bed every morning. The average person might define their lives from the outside in, thinking about what, how, then the why. But inspired individuals with passion will define their lives from the inside out, answering the why, how, then the what. Interestingly enough, the claims I'm sharing with you today are not just theories or opinions. The golden circle actually matches up with the biology of the brain almost perfectly. When looking at the cross-section of a brain from the top down, the human brain can be broken into two primary regions that consist of three parts. The neocortex, commonly referred to as the Homo sapien brain, is actually the newest brain, and it corresponds to the what and the how of the golden circle. The neocortex is largely responsible for the rational and analytical thought processes as well as language. Going further down to the middle sections of the brain, they make up what are called the limbic brains. You can think of this as the why. The limbic brains are responsible for the way we feel and largely influence emotions like trust and loyalty. It's these parts of the brain that also determine all human behavior, including decision making, something that can't exactly be understood with language alone. Another way to think of this is that people will forget what you said, but will always remember how you made them feel. When you can touch your heart and define your why and connect within your group as a leader, that's how you know you're doing something right. When someone asks you for your leadership experience on an application or in a conversation, they are less interested in what you did, but much more interested in why you did it. I hope this concept of leadership through service is something that sticks with you in all regards of life as you continue to progress in your education and careers. I congratulate and commend all of you present today in taking the initiative to make the most of a changing world and continuing to stay true to your goals and ambitions while making the most of your HOSA experience. To all that are competing this year, I wish you all the best of luck and look forward to seeing many of you at ILC. Thank you.
Thank you, Sricharan, for coming back to VSLC.
Each year, you, the HOSA members, join together and raise money for those less fortunate than ourselves. This year, our pennywort efforts are being directed toward our HOSA project, Be the Match.
Hi, I'm Benita Davis with Be the Match. Thank you all so much for allowing me to be part of your conference. Even though COVID has turned our world upside down, there are some good things about virtual world. One of those being I can take you along with me to learn more about Be the Match and what we do. At Be the Match, we work every day to help save lives. It's even on our walls.
Yes.
There are so many things that go on behind the scenes to help us accomplish our life-saving mission. Obviously, we help connect patients with their life-saving cells, beginning from when a patient's doctor searches our registry all the way to the safe delivery of those life-saving cells to the patient's bedside. Our research at Be the Match has had a significant impact on blood disease survival and improving the quality of life for thousands of transplant patients. We work hard every day to grow the registry. Patients are counting on us to help find their life-saving match. Even though our registry includes more than 22 million people ready to donate, more donors are needed. We also provide one-on-one support, resources, and guidance throughout the transplant process, not only to the patient, but to their family as well. Legislative advocacy is an important piece of our puzzle also. Our advocates work hard to protect access and expand coverage for patients in need of a life-saving transplant. At Be the Match, we cannot do this all alone. We must depend on partnerships just like the one with HOSA to help us save lives. The partnership between HOSA and Be the Match is such an important and exciting one. I cannot wait to tell you more about the ways that your chapter can help save lives. But first, let's go ahead and talk about that elephant in the room, the donation process. This is something you need to know because I promise you, when you are talking to others about joining the registry, You will hear all kinds of stories about the pain they think is involved. We need you to help educate the public about the facts instead of the myths many people believe.
When they did the procedure, they didn't numb them, they didn't do anything. They just drilled a hole. I'm just like, I think it was like a drill that you use just like on wood supplies. That's not for me. So I was just like, I'm not doing it.
There are 2 ways to help save a life with a blood stem cell donation. For 80% of matches made between a patient and their donor, the process is similar to donating blood or plasma. You'll get a few shots to boost the amount of blood stem cells in your body, then you'll come in for a blood draw. Blood is taken from your arm and goes into a device that separates the stem cells out for the patient. Your blood goes back into your other arm. This takes about 4 hours. Let's take a look at the other way. For 20% of matches, donors need to provide stem cells from bone marrow, which is taken from your hip. This is done with anesthesia, so you won't feel any pain during it, and you go home the same day. With both types of donations, Be The Match covers all costs: your travel, meals, payment for any work you miss. We're here to make it easier for you to help save a life. There are 2 ways to donate for one goal we all share. Your donation counts.
Now that we've covered the donation process, let's take a closer look to see how a match is actually made. Human leukocyte antigens, or HLAs, are what we are looking for. Each person will inherit half of their HLAs from their mom and half from their dad. Contrary to what most people believe, parents are not usually the best hope for a match, as they're probably only going to be a half match. Siblings usually match another sibling about 25% of the time. This is because there is no guarantee which antigens each person will receive from their mom and their dad. Because of this, 70% of patients that need a transplant must depend on an unrelated donor from the Be The Match registry to help save their life. Race and ethnicity are extremely important when it comes to finding a match. 95% of the time, a match donor will have the same ethnic background as the patient. The antigens that we inherit from our parents are inherited throughout generations, and each ethnic group has their own set of antigens. Let's take a look at the odds of a patient receiving a transplant based on race. Remember, Be The Match has over 22 million donors ready to donate, yet we do not have a match for all searching patients. Because there is a lack of diversity on the registry, an ethnically diverse patient will have a harder time finding a match than a Caucasian patient will. As you can see on this chart, the chances for a patient to find a match drops dramatically depending on the patient's ethnic background. A Caucasian patient has a 77% chance of finding a match and receiving a life-saving transplant. Now compare that to a Native American or Alaskan Native, it drops down to a 57% chance. Hispanic or Latino patient, 46% chance. Asian or Pacific Islander, 41% chance. And an African American patient only has a 23% chance of finding a match donor and receiving their life-saving transplant. We want to provide equal outcomes for all patients. To make that happen, we must add more committed donors from ethnically diverse backgrounds to the registry. This is where your chapter can really help make a difference. Joining the registry is simple. The new registrant just fills out some information on their phone or computer using the keyword you provide to them. Then they swab the inside of their mouth. That's all there is to joining. Let's take a few minutes to hear from some people that have truly been impacted by Be The Match.
I just didn't hesitate about it. I was just like, okay, this is perfect. Like, I'll do it. It was an easy choice.
So I'm very excited to meet my son's donor. 2016, October 24th was Quincy's day that he was notified he was cured from sickle cell. So 2020, 4 years later, we get to meet the donor that made it happen.
felt good knowing that I had a donor. It's like we knew possibility getting cured, don't have to deal with pain crises, don't have to take medicine daily.
Take the leap that one choice can save someone's life, and it's very rewarding. It's not painful, and the end result is someone else gets to experience life differently and without pain.
It was super easy. I was like, yes, I'll do it, 100%. I'd do it again.
So inspiring. There are so many other stories like this waiting to be told. That can happen with your help. If you have not already done so, you will want to visit and bookmark the Be the Match HOSA landing page at bethematch.org/HOSA. This is where you will find all things Be the Match for your HOSA chapter. You can take a few minutes to learn about Be the Match and even hear a story from HOSA alum. Here is where you will see all the missions that we have for you in your chapter, everything from education, fundraising, recruitment, and more. Go check out the incentives tab. We have some great prizes for your chapter to earn, all while helping save lives, which is pretty much the best prize of all. You could possibly even win a trip to Be the Match headquarters and biorepository in Minneapolis. Don't forget to check out the resources as well. We have training videos here, along with any previous webinars that we have hosted for HOSA. And of course, be sure to check for any upcoming events under the events section. Make sure you check back often for any announcements or new missions. Let's go back and take a closer look at the fundraising section of the landing page. If your chapter has not already done so, you will want to set up your Team Be the Match page. Even if you are only planning on raising funds through live events, go ahead and set up a page for your chapter. Once you send those funds in to us, we will post the amount on your team page for you. Also, sharing your team page makes it easier to ask family and friends from out of town to help you reach your fundraising goal. Once your chapter's team page has been set up, each member can then join the team and personalize their own page if you choose. When setting up your team's page, make sure you update the story section to include your chapter's join keyword instead of the general HOSA code. We want to make sure your chapter gets credit for anyone that joins the registry through your efforts. If you have not received your join keyword, please reach out to your Be the Match representative or email hosa@nmdp.org to get that set up. If you've already set up your page, make sure you go back and change the keyword. Every dollar raised helps Be the Match grow the registry. Every dollar raised earns your chapter a point. Working with Be the Match gives HOSA an opportunity to do more than just fundraise. Trust me, we love the fundraising efforts, but you also have the opportunity to add more committed donors to the registry through your efforts. How amazing is it to know that you could help someone join the registry and they could end up being the perfect match for a searching patient? There are so many options on how to host a drive. Obviously, we have the virtual option. This would include sharing your chapter's join keyword on social media, through emails, etc. We even have short videos, stories, and other items you can share to help grab the attention of your followers and encourage them to join. Anyone 18 to 44 years of age, anywhere in the U.S., can then click on that link that you shared and be taken to the Be the Match site to fill out information to join. They will then receive a swab kit in the mail to swab the inside of their mouth, then mail back the kit for testing. If allowed in your community, you also have the option of hosting a live drive. This would include setting up a table or booth and recruiting members of the public to join the registry. This can be done just about anywhere. Athletic events, grocery stores, malls. You could even possibly do this at your school for staff and faculty members. The registrants will still use your keyword to fill out information on their phone. Then they will be able to swab right there. Don't worry, the registrant will swab the inside of their own mouth, then return the swabs to the envelope and seal it up. You will not be touching any used swabs. Your Be the Match rep will then work with you on how to get the kits sent in for testing. Another great opportunity is if your chapter is able to get a presentation set up with your school's senior class closer to graduation time. That is the perfect time to educate a large group who are either already 18 years old or will be soon. You can work with your Be the Match rep on how to best handle the presentation. Every person that your chapter gets to join the registry is another point earned for your chapter. Just think of all the points your chapter can earn by doing this. Nothing is set in stone. So if you have an idea that you aren't sure about, reach out to your rep, share your idea, and work through any issues, and then set up and have a great drive. Another way to earn points is by helping us grow the pre-registry. The pre-registry is for those individuals that want to join the registry, but they aren't 18 yet. The pre-registry is a way for them to enter their information so we can stay in touch with them and continue to educate them about Be the Match until they turn 18 and are ready to join the registry. You want to make sure that anyone joining the pre-registry inputs your join keyword into the box where it is requested. It will not pre-populate, and the only way we can give your chapter credit for someone joining is if they input your keyword. So you have 3 ways to earn points: fundraising, growing the registry, and growing the pre-registry. Your hard work will continue to help save lives for years to come. That in itself is a great reward. But don't forget about the rewards we are offering if you reach the point goals. We have t-shirts, lapel pins, and maybe even a trip to the Be the Match headquarters in Minneapolis. You are the perfect advocates for Be the Match. You have access to communities that we may not normally have access to. You have access to your friends and families that we may not normally be able to connect with. And you will be able to take this mission with you throughout the rest of your life and continue to educate more and more people and help save more and more lives. As you look into adding people to the registry, remember that we want committed donors to join the registry.
Imagine being in a situation where you have to rely on a stem cell donation to save your life, and there's 1 or 2 people in the world that are potential candidates to donate, but they have to say yes. One of our biggest challenges is adding committed donors to the registry. About 50% of the time, donors will decline. When I got the call, I was told that I was a match for a woman in her 50s with leukemia, and that's my mom's age, and that could have been my mom's disease.
What do you say to someone who saved your life?
I would encourage you to answer the call if you are a match. I can tell you from personal experience that it's the best thing that I've ever done in my life. Sarah and I have a very close relationship now. To be able to help her and help her sons be with their mom, it's incredible.
If someone wants to join the registry, we just want them to feel like they will follow through if at all possible. Once someone completes the registration process in person, they will receive a text or email asking them about their commitment. If they want to be on the registry, they must reply yes to the text. Please let anyone joining in person know they will receive a text and they must reply to the text if they want to be part of the registry, or everything they just did was all for nothing. You may hear someone say they aren't able to donate blood, so they can't join the registry. That is not always true. The best thing to do is, if you aren't sure, have them fill out the information and they will be alerted if they are not able to join before they swab. We also have a health guide sheet available for your chapter to print out for common health questions. Be the Match wants your chapter to be successful. Your success means success for our patients that we serve. If you ever have any questions or requests, please know that we are here to help you. Every chapter has a Be the Match representative available to you. If you aren't sure who your rep is or are unable to reach them, you can always email us at hosa@nmdp.org. As the Dalai Lama has said, just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into the water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects. When you do good work and it inspires others, you have created a ripple effect. Together with your chapter, you can create a life-saving tidal wave. Thank you, and let's get a suave movement started.
Thank you, Be the Match, for that informative video. And the winner of Penny Wars this year is the Broward region. More specifically, Flanagan High School, with a grand total of $500. But we also want to give an honorable mention to the Treasure Coast region, with Martin County High School, with a grand total of $401.21. Thank you both for your generous donations.
And now, here to bring greetings on behalf of the State Association is our Florida HOSA State Advisor. Members and advisors, please join me in welcoming the man who makes all of this happen, our State Advisor, Mr. Lloyd DeVault.
Thank you, Varsha. Members, advisors, and guests, it gives me great pleasure as your state advisor to welcome you to our 43rd Annual State Leadership Conference and our first ever virtual State Leadership Conference. There is no question that this has been one of the most challenging years for our members and advisors, for the Florida HOSA organization in general. However, because of your passion and dedication, our membership stands at 9,554. I want to thank you for your support, especially to our designated guardian chapters. These exceptional chapters have gone above and beyond to exceed their membership numbers from the 2019-2020 academic year. We sincerely appreciate and want to recognize their outstanding efforts. During this VSLC, we had more than 2,000 members and advisors registered to participate, which is truly remarkable. We want to thank everyone that assisted and cooperated in making this a successful conference and for helping our members to unlock their potential. Advisors and members, please pay close attention in regard to the International Leadership Conference, which will convene virtually June 23rd through 26th. Please see page 27 in the digital VSLC program. Plus, all VILC information may be found on the Global National HOSA website, www.hosa.org, under the Conferences tab. VILC registration forms, fees, and validation forms must be received in the Florida HOSA State Office on or before May 10th, not just postmarked. Late registrations will not be accepted. All these forms must be compiled and reconciled by the state office in order to be submitted to the Global National HOSA office by their deadline. Competitors, if you have become eligible to compete at the virtual international conference by placing in the top 3 of your event during the VSLC, please let your advisor know as quickly as possible if you're able to participate during the VILC. If you are unable to, the next competitor on the winners list becomes eligible to compete during the international conference. Advisors, please notify the state office immediately if a competitor is unable to participate during the International Leadership Conference so that the next person on the winners list may be contacted. May 3rd will be the cutoff for notification of pending competitors. Finally, we have all walked through the flames of adversity this year, which have, unfortunately, proven devastating for many businesses and organizations. Yet you all have proven your courage and resiliency in the face of these overwhelming circumstances and have risen above them. And in doing so, you have helped our state association continue to survive. I want to thank you all again for your support, your dedication, your patience, your flexibility, and your understanding during this unprecedented time in our history. You are the heart and soul and guardians of Florida HOSA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeVault, for your hard work and dedication to Florida HOSA. Let's give him another big round of applause.
As a state association, we pride ourselves for having the second largest membership in the host nation. Florida HOSA's enthusiasm and involvement is owed solely to you, the membership, for making us shine year after year. Members of Florida HOSA Future Health Professionals, thank you for your commitment and dedication. To show you how much we appreciate you, please direct your attention to your screens for our 2021 HOSA member tribute.
It is time now to become motivated and inspired as we are privileged this evening to have one of America's top speakers. Dr. Jim Van Allen is an accomplished speaker and trainer with clients across the country. He specializes in using a unique blend of audience engagement and high energy to make workshops and keynote speeches come alive. Jim is a certified speaker with the John Gordon Companies and has been presenting curriculum and material on behalf of John Gordon for over 10 years. He has conducted presentations on all of John's books. He's a professor of communication studies with Kaiser University, where he teaches public speaking and interpersonal communication courses. Additionally, he holds a bachelor degree in public relations from the University of Florida and a master's degree in communication studies from Florida Atlantic University. Jim also has his PhD in education leadership, where he analyzed the impact of professional development training based on the best-selling book, The Energy Bus. The research focused on how schools and organizations can sustain a positive culture. He resides in Palm City, Florida, with his wife, Stephanie, and two boys, Brady and Brett. And here he is, former Florida HOSA State Officer, Mr. Jim Van Allen.
Well, HOSA, here we go. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm just, enjoying some popcorn here, watching the virtual state leadership conference. Am I the first keynote speaker to be eating some popcorn while I'm watching this? No, I'm kidding. It's a prop for the show, but this does look pretty good. This is a prop for later. But hey, welcome everybody. And man, I'm watching this on YouTube. We got people here. This is exciting. Let's make this exciting, right? We can't be there in person, but you know what? Let's make this as exciting as we can, but great stories and staying engaged because I'm ready to go here. So I was just introduced to you as Jim Van Allen, your keynote speaker for SLC, but I have a confession to make with all of you. So if you look at my birth certificate, it does not say James Van Allen on it. It has a different name, okay? It has a name that I carried with me for the first 22 years of my life. It has a name that many advisors listening and watching who have probably known me since I was 16 when I had a giant blonde afro. That's right, I had a blonde afro and a bright future when they knew me as that. A name that I carried with me when I was your state officer from 2002 to 2004. Shout out to Region 4, HOSA, Palm Harbor. My name used to be Jim Careccia. Very Italian, it's true. Just saying that name sounds both like foreign and familiar at the same time. Trust me, it's a mind trip for sure. But the first 22 years of my life, that's the name that I carry. That's my paternal father's name. But that name I carry no more, as Jim Van Allen was born in 2008. So why, you ask, right? Where's my father? Like, what's going on? Who is this guy? I'm going to get into all that in just a second here. You see, HOSA, tonight's message is about transformation, okay? It's about dealing with adversity, and it's about becoming resilient. Becoming resilient, because God knows, right? You've had a lot to deal with and thrown at you in the past year and continuing on and on into this year. And I want to tell you some stories tonight. I want to sit down and be real with you. I'm going to tell you some stories that I've never shared with any audience. And I've been doing this for almost 13 years. Stories about taking challenges and making something better from them. Taking negativity, dealing with difficulties, and turning them into something glorious, right? Something amazing. So you're at home, sit back, right? Raise your hand if you're in your PJs out there. If you're sitting there in your PJs, raise your hand. I know you are. I'm not going to zoom down as I'm just wearing shorts here. Hey, that's the Zoom look. That's what can I say? That's the Zoom look here. But you're at home, sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready because it's going to be a show, okay? It's going to be a show. Most importantly, allow yourself to listen. Immerse yourself in these stories. And I want you to think to yourself, how can my situation be different? If I'm going through something, right? How can my actions be different? What actions can I actually take? Because as you move later into life, adversity is inevitably going to strike its ugly head. And remember these words. Remember these words here. Srishan was so right. The words you say at the beginning are going to really stick with you in presentations. Remember these words. You don't have to wait for the world to transform you. You don't have to sit in a negative situation. You can go out and transform the world and not be defined by adversity. So let's begin again. You see, growing up, I had a normal childhood, as you could imagine, right? Lived in a great neighborhood. My dad was an airline pilot. We had a lot of fun. And my dad, he was really good to us growing up. You know, he would lay in bed with my brother and I at night and quiz us on the state capitals, right? The different kinds of airplanes, give us math problems, other silly questions, just kind of talking to us. And I remember really cherishing those moments when I was a kid, that quality time that you really want with your dad. And I could tell he cherished that time as well. But as an airline pilot, you know, he was gone a lot. He was gone almost 4 days a week sometimes. I remember all this. And when he would come home from these really long trips, sometimes my brother and I would throw these parties for him. We were like 6 years old, or we'd stick our head through the garage door as he was pulling in and we would cheer with balloons and stuff. In fact, I wanted to be my dad. I really did. I wanted to be an airline pilot when I grew up. And I have with me right here, this model airplane. See this right here? This is the exact one I used to play with when I was just a wee bitty Jim Van Allen, Jim Careccia, 5 years old, 6 years old, right here. I've given it to my sons now. But I would fly this exact model airplane around my house and I would stop all over the house. And every place that I stopped would be the place my dad was at that time. And he would call us in between places. Hey, I'm in Newark. Hey, I'm in Charlotte. I'm in Atlanta. And that's where I would take my little airplane too, all around the house. I was so proud of him, right? I would tell my friends, oh, my dad's an airline captain. He flies airplanes, you know, and I get to fly for free. We got to fly for free all the time. We could travel anywhere and everywhere. It was pretty cool. Tough life, right? We were happy, right? We were happy. Until my parents out of nowhere divorced when I was 8 and kind of ended our run as this, you know, cohesive family. And life would shift dramatically as we would get older in ways I probably could have never forecast, if I'm going to be blatantly honest with you here tonight. You know, my dad was always the one pouring into my brother and I, wanting us to be really good men. You know, he would teach us when my parents got divorced, right? We'd go to his house, go to mom's house. He would teach us, you know, you clean your own bathrooms, you make your own lunches, you take your shoes off at the door. He taught me how to weightlift properly so I could, you know, get all the girls, right? Never really worked out well on my end, but nonetheless, I tried, okay? He played classic rock and oldies music for us, kind of showing me what real music looked like. But he unfortunately had this side that I know is part of me too. He pushes people away when they wrong him, no matter how big or how small the incident was. And the word forgiveness, it's not in his vocabulary. His short fuse and his temper would spook us. And he never abused us. It's not a story about that. But our relationship really began to diminish as I left middle school and got into high school and then all the way through high school. We developed this on and off again relationship. And as a 16, 17, 18-year-old guy, right, that was brutal. It was brutal. I basically went through some of the most challenging years of my life without a father figure to rely on. And luckily, I didn't go off the rails. You could ask Lloyd DeVault, the state advisor, Sandra Lynn, Dan, all these people, you could ask them, okay? I didn't go off the rails, okay? Top of my class, I got into UF. I was a state officer, national champion of HOSA. Yay. All right. I treated girls with respect. And for a testosterone-driven 18-year-old boy, I was always a perfect gentleman most of the time, okay? Now, I really was, though. I was. But there was always something missing, especially when I went away to college. You know, I was sitting there at my dream school, right? At the University of Florida. I wanted to go there since I was a little guy. And I was feeling lonely, man. I was there. I have this giant university and I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling isolated. I had a rough time my first 2 years there and I had no father to call and I had no father calling me. So in 2008, when I graduated, I walked across that stage. I was about to start a new life, a new speaking career with my mentor, John Gordon. He's written 25 books now and I'm working with him every step of the way. And I was about to get engaged to another Gator girl that I met, right? And I made the decision. I was going to take my mother's maiden name just like she did after the divorce. And Jim Van Allen was born. And I was motivated, right, to start this new life without my dad and not be held down because of it and not let my poor circumstances dictate the rest of my life. Not let the absence of a dad be a crutch, right? That would make me wilt and become bitter. I was determined to transform my situation forever. Legacy. I had to. See, you get to transform the world around you. You get to make your own destiny. You get to take back control and own your own lives, right? We're talking about this. You don't have to wait for change to happen. You can go out and make that change, plow your own path despite any shortcomings in potential upbringing that you may be having. So maybe you're sitting there, okay, you're listening. You're going through something similar, right? Maybe difficulty with parents, bad breakup, right? Difficult past, divorced households, mean classmates, broken dreams, tough life, whatever it is. And you know what's funny is, you know, the more I talk to people, right? I talk to a lot of clients. The more I talk to people, just friends, everybody's going through something. We're all going through something. And I stand on stage every Sunday at my church and I do the welcome and I do the announcements, right? And I do the opening prayer. Go figure, right? They would ask the speaker to do the announcements and the speaking part. But I always pray at the end, Lord, hear our prayers because we're all going through something. We are. We're all going through it. Whatever that something is for you, whatever it is, man, I see you. All right. I really can through this screen. I know there's 100, 200 people sitting there listening to this, going to be watching this on replay, whatever that is. You can carry it, but it doesn't have to define you. Okay. Whatever that something is, you can use it to transform your situation today. You see, we can turn our pain into prosperity, and it's up to us. It really is what kind of person you're going to be. I want to introduce you to three things here. Okay. The carrot, the egg, and the coffee bean. By the way, have anybody ever actually smelled coffee beans? Like, I don't drink coffee, but man, you can take a hit off that. That's insane. That's great. I love it, man. Coffee. I'm going to have that open there. That's a good smell. But the carrot, the egg, and the coffee bean. Because here's the thing. When pain hits you, when adversity strikes, which one will you be? The carrot, the egg, or the coffee bean? When the water boils, which one will you be? Because here's the thing about adversity. It doesn't discriminate, okay? It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, whether things are going well, whether they're not going as well. Adversity will strike. So the carrot, the egg, and the coffee bean. When adversity strikes, which one are you going to be? Think about this one, the carrot, right? Oh, everybody loves their carrots, right? Everybody loves them. Think about the carrot. What happens to the carrot when you drop a carrot into boiling hot water? What happens to that carrot? What happens? You drop that carrot in the boiling hot water. It's going to wilt. It's going to lose its strength. It's going to grow soft. It's going to waste away. Trust me, I've tried feeding them to my children that way, and it's disgusting. I won't even eat them when they're that way, okay? They start out strong, but when the heat's applied, they wilt away. Which one will you be? How about the egg? I better not crack this because I'm in my office here. That would be disgusting. But the egg starts out with good intentions, right? It's got a nice hard exterior, right? It's tough, okay? The inside, though, is where it counts. Your inside, it's fluid. You have spirit. You have passion. It's moving around, okay? But when you drop the egg into hot water, what happens to the egg? Hard-boiled eggs, okay? All you disgusting people out there who actually eat those things. And I've sat next to you on the airplane, so thank you for that. But anyways, the hard-boiled eggs, right? The inside gets bitter. It gets hard, okay? And it started out, the exterior is great, but you peel it out, and there is that tough interior that, kind of gross looking. But then you have, of course, the coffee bean. Will you become the coffee bean? Will you rise up? And I know there's out there people, you can't live without your coffee. I know who you are. You can't live without your coffee. Here's the thing about the coffee bean is when you apply these coffee beans, right? When you apply these guys to water, right? The water doesn't change the coffee bean. The coffee bean changes the water. The coffee bean transforms the environment around it. While the other two wilt away and become bitter and hard when the heat is applied, the coffee bean goes the other direction. You have a scent, you have an aroma, you have a taste. It transforms the water into something great when the heat is applied. It transforms the environment. So once again, HOSA, will you be ready? So think about it this way. If I was the carrot with the situation with my dad, right? Always claiming daddy issues, I would have wilted away. I would have withdrawn from people, never learning to trust or explore deeper relationships if I was the carrot. If I was the egg, right, I would be angry now. I'd be bitter. I'd be hardened on the inside, never wanting to accept people and accept love and accept help. No. I had to make the choice. I had to make the choice to be the coffee bean and working to take this pain, to take this adversity, right, and to turn it into something great, to turn it into a new legacy. And you can too if you decide to be the coffee bean. Your legacy can be different as well. You see, folks out there, there's going to be a time, okay? There's going to be a time in your future when you're thinking about, you're thinking about the marriage. Is this old? Is this beyond? Is this too old to do that? The single ladies thing? That's probably too old. It's an old reference. But you're going to be thinking about, is that the, you're going to be thinking about marriage and kids and all that. It's coming down the pipe at some point, okay? It's coming down the pipe. Certainly not now, okay? It's coming, though. It's coming. I was married at 23. So, okay, it's going to come a lot sooner than you think if you were like me, that hopeless romantic, okay? It might be. And you're going to start really paying attention to your decisions that you make. And they're going to start having these greater ramifications. They're going to start impacting more people than just you. So I was a good boy in high school. I rarely, if ever, drank in high school. I'm not crossing my fingers, okay? And I would never certainly get in a car with anybody because that's just stupid and dumb. But I did have a drink in December of 2009. Now relax. I was 24 years old and it was my wedding day, okay? I did have one drink at my wedding. And I was a kid. I got, I was 23, right? I got the fancy haircut, okay? Yeah, I keep my hair nice and short, okay? This is bald by choice, by the way, okay? Bald by choice. I got the fancy haircut. First time I ever got my eyebrows plucked was before my wedding, okay? Yep, that was me. Yep, a little bit of a, whoop, yep, got that done. I got my first manicure. Man, that hurt like a you-know-what, okay? That was awful. Looked good, but it was very painful. Put on that rented tux, and I drove to the altar with my groomsmen in a white rental car. Why a rental car on my wedding day? Well, because my regular car, my baby at the time, my little baby car that I had for 7 years, my first car, decided 10 days before my wedding to blow up, almost quite literally. I was in graduate school at FAU. I was living down there alone while my fiance finished grad school at UF, so we were apart for a semester. And I tell you what, I was BROKE. I was broke. Anybody else relate to that, right? Yeah, I was broke. I was living in Boca Raton, okay? It's Boca, right? It's pricey. Broward, you know what I'm talking about, Palm Beach. Everything is more expensive in Boca. Everything's more expensive in Broward. I see you out there, Broward region, okay? So I got out of my rental car, heading to the altar, car blast, music blasting, groomsmen in tow. I stood at the altar and I shook who would be my father-in-law's hand. And I took my wife's, hand, my soon-to-be wife, and we said our vows in Tradition Square in Port St. Lucie. And I stood there in front of my wife, soon-to-be wife, my family, my friends, and folks. Like I said, I was broke as hell, okay? And I started my life with my wife with $1,000 in my bank account, and that was money given to me by my mother, who also rented me the car that week because my car blew up. I literally came to the table with zero, folks. No lie. My wife can attest to this, okay? And we had the DJ play Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer as we said, I do. And we kind of came down the aisle, going nuts, because quite literally, that's all we had was a good prayer. That's all I had, at least. I had nothing to offer besides myself, a bright future, hope, and possibility, right? That was all I had to offer. So think about us now as a couple. Think about yourselves if you're in a relationship, right? If we had been the carrot as a couple, our love would have quickly faded away, fighting over finances, making it work right away. We'd never lived together before we got married. We stayed true to the end, right? Think about it as a couple. If we were the egg, right, as a couple, we would both be fighting and pointing fingers over early challenges and angry and doubtful about each other and our situation we were in. Because what I didn't tell you is that the first 7 months that we were together as a married couple, we shared one car and a bike for 7 months. Well, I had to go to grad school and she had to start her new job. A bike and a car, and that we would just switch it on and off, a bike and a car. We were making it work, folks. We were the coffee bean, okay? We were the coffee bean. We turned this challenging situation into a life lesson that we've now carried with us 11 years later, okay? I've been married 11 years now, and we turned it into a transformation situation. We learned, hey, you got to live within your means. You got to just love each other through it all. We made it work then, and we're so much better for it right now. So HOSA students, I mentioned when I got married, I had nothing to offer besides a bright future, hope, and possibility. Let's talk about that for a second, because being the coffee bean means you transform the environment around you, okay? Let's look at everybody's got COVID fatigue. I know we're tired of talking about it, but society, has been facing a marathon of obstacles, and 2020 was definitely deemed the year of what's next, right? What else is coming? And 2021 definitely started out that way. And as future healthcare professionals, what I think is cool is that your profession has been front and center this entire past year and will continue to be, Think about it. In less than 1 year's time since the pandemic first struck, we now have a working vaccine that's bringing an end to this hell, okay? Giving hope and optimism to millions taking this shot. And that's our healthcare workers. That's our scientists developing this. And our healthcare workers are putting their lives on the line in the early days of the pandemic, not knowing what we were dealing with. That's your profession, right? Tons of stories coming in over the past year of our healthcare workers being the coffee bean, transforming the environment around them, coming up with new innovative medical techniques and medicines and vaccines, right? What drives us? It's hope. Hope drives us. Why you watch your favorite sports team, because you have hope that they're going to win, right? That's why we try to say that society is going to get better. We're going to improve because we have hope. We have hope we're going to get the jobs we want. Hope drives us. We also have a hope for normalcy, for a bright future, and to be a resilient group of people. So I tell you, HOSA members, I encourage you to take hope, optimism, and faith for a bright future. And I want you to wear that like a badge of honor. Don't let anybody take that off you. Don't ever let anybody strip that away from you. Now, told you, get your popcorn ready. State officers, y'all ready for this? Okay, everybody ready for this watching? Because I'm about to get real with you, okay? I'm about to get real with you. We're going off here, okay? So buckle up and try not to cancel me, cancel culture. I know, I see you out there, okay? Let's not fall for the doom and gloom perpetuated by the mass media. Let's rise above the noise. Let's resist the trap of social media, catching you in this vicious loop of needing validation and addiction to self-expression. Let's rise above the addiction. Let's tune out, okay? Let's tune out. These politicians are only looking out for their selfish, money-driven agenda and not the general welfare of our nation. Let's rise above phoniness, right? Let's be a group of citizens who say, we want control back. And I'm talking about our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings, right? That we're not going to live in fear, because hope, possibility, and optimism will be our calling cards, and resiliency will be our new names. Now, we've encountered many resilient people in the past year, and can we just stop for a second and just give an amen or a shout out to your advisors, to your teachers and your educators, every single one of them, okay? Because they, my God, they have carried the weight and the burden of this society, right, and students for such a long time. And I get the opportunity of speaking to all of your advisors tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And we're going to be talking about how we're not going to be taking them for granted anymore. We're going to be talking about true coffee beans, because your advisors, right, thinking about, what a coffee bean does, okay? Your advisors were booted from their classrooms overnight. All of you were booted from your classrooms overnight last year. And then you had to rebuild online immediately and you've somehow made it work. Now, of course, it wasn't perfect, and it probably still is not, but your teachers took a difficult situation, the worst, and developed innovative teaching methods, learned brand new skills, made sacrifices for you. You sitting right there. They did that for you, okay? To try to give you the best experience possible. They tried to take a negative situation and turn it into something workable and great. So let's never take schools and teachers for granted again. Let's continue to feel connected. So I know those of you who are now back in class, right? It probably feels good to be connected again, because the pandemic has shown us what it feels like to be disconnected. So we indeed have this need to connect. The coffee bean wants to connect, right? People who are the coffee bean want to transform. They want to grow. They want to impact other people. And that's certainly what we tried to do as a family last year. March of last year, when all the gyms were shutting down, my family and I decided that we would be the coffee beans and try to help people. Okay, this is what our intention was to do. So we know as human beings, we have this innate desire to connect with others and be in relationships with other people. And the stay-at-home order, as much as it was needed, right, it just was difficult. It made life difficult. And it's okay to admit that life felt awkward and uncertain at times. So my wife and I and my two boys, we were working out in the garage. We had stations set up and we were just trying to stay active, right, in the garage. And I said to her, hey, we should live stream this on YouTube or do something with it, get people involved. And that morphed into streaming live workouts from inside of our house. We would move all the furniture, we'd set up the phone, and my wife's a fitness instructor, so she knows what she's doing. I was just kind of the lackey in the background, right, who was kind of like pretending to know what they were doing. If you watch any of the old videos, I looked awkward, but you know what? I got through it, okay? It was awesome. And we pushed the couches aside. We called it SD, Social Distance Fitness. And for 2 months, twice a week, we live streamed on Facebook Live workouts for people to do just for fun, to take a negative situation and do something with it. And like I said, I did every workout you can imagine, okay? Live on camera, no rehearsal, with a smile on my face, okay? The best part was that, friends could join in. And we got a lot of positive feedback. And when the gym started to open up again, we were like, well, maybe that's it. But my wife kept getting this feeling, right? This divine feeling that we were supposed to do something else with this. So shortly after we stopped live streaming, we decided to start a nonprofit called the Fitness Mission almost 1 year later. And what we do is that my wife puts out 2 workouts a week, all designed to get regular people active and healthy. We have a YouTube channel, we put it out there. She partners with an app called Active for Good. And what you do is you log into the app and you log your activity. If I ran, if I cleaned, if I biked, you log your activity. And the app takes your activity and turns it into points. So every 500 points you earn, Active for Good donates a life-saving packet of food to a child in need, starving kids. And we're not making any money from any of this. So as the YouTube grows, we don't make any money. Well, I am pleased to say that to date, our Fitness Mission Active for Good team, after 1 year, has combined to donate enough life-saving packets to save the lives of 70 children. Did you all hear me? 70 children, okay, as a result of all of our collective efforts. Everybody joining this team, okay? Everybody joining this team, logging their workouts, Active for Good, donating packets based on the workouts we do. 70 kids' lives have been saved. Think about that. The number would be 0 if we just sat and did nothing. The number would be 0 if we were just the carrot, right, and wilted away. The number would be 0 if we were just like the egg and became hard and upset and bitter because the gyms were closed. I can't get my swole on, bro. No. In the middle of hot water, boiling water, challenging situations, the mission was born and we saved lives. You see, we can be the ones to turn an adverse situation into something great, into something positive. It just takes the right ingredient, the right mental state on your part. So I wanted to bring us towards the end by taking us back full circle to the beginning here. And, full circle, full transparency as we round out the end here. I probably experienced one of the hardest conversations of my life in 2011 when I showed up unannounced at my dad's house, and he had just moved from Florida to Texas, and I did the surprise visit. I had a speaking engagement in Texas, and I just kind of stopped by and said, hello, and we hadn't talked for a while up until that point. This was about 3 years after I changed my name, and I wasn't sure if he knew or not. He definitely did. Maybe the surprise visit was a bad call on my end, not sure, but I just wanted to see if there was something left, right? It's your dad. It's a parent. I just wanted to see if there was something left there. But by the end of the conversation, I had proof that there wasn't. And I'm sorry to all of you who thought this might be a happy ending, one of those happy ending Disney type stories. This phase of the story is not, but life doesn't always work out that way. And my dad point blank told me to my face that there will never be a relationship here. So imagine hearing that, right? As a son, as a daughter, from one of your parents. And without going into too much detail, changing my last name was not an easy decision. And there's probably some blame on both sides. There's a lot more that you don't know, but nonetheless, the most important parts. But it was a culmination of years of feeling pushed aside by my father and these mental gymnastics. I needed a fresh start and a new identity. It was not an easy decision, and he's never forgiven me for it. So when your father says there's never going to be a relationship here, once again, I had a choice to make. I could wilt, I could become bitter, or I could thrive. I could thrive. I could thrive. And folks, I'm happy to say that right now, and I've been vibrant, I've been energized, I am thriving. And I still think about my dad all the time, but I am the coffee bean. And my wife and I are raising our 6-year-old son, Brady, and his 4-year-old brother, Brendan, to be little coffee beans as well. You see, the last time I keynoted SLC, so I did this keynote for all of you 6 years ago in 2015. And I had baby Brady with me, my son. He was only 2 months old. And I brought him on stage with me the last time I keynoted this conference. I brought him right on stage with me in front of 3,500 students. Now he's this bright, smart, loving 6-year-old boy who has a brother who's got a heart of joy and fun. And I'm doing everything in my power to not let my experiences with my own dad impact my relationship with my sons. I'm using the pain and turning it into something beautiful, something wonderful, okay? Something wonderful and beautiful. So like I said, I brought my son on stage last time. My mom was there. I know she's watching now. Hi, Mom. So I want to bring on some special guests here and see if they are available to come on in and come to join us here. Here we go. I want to introduce to you. Come on up, boys. Come on up. Stand right here. Say hi. There's Brady. And come on up here, Brendan. There's Brendan. So the last time they were here, okay, you were 2 months old being on stage, okay? And now I say to them and I say to you that I work on the relationship with my sons every single day, okay? And I manage through the tendencies that I have to be the best father and husband that I can be, who will love his children unconditionally, because these guys can do no wrong in my eyes, okay? There's nothing that these guys can do wrong. I'm transforming the worst possible situation in my life into something that's truly unique and truly powerful. So I have these two boys who, on their own, they want to buy donuts for their teachers at their school and pay for it with their own money. When the Bahamas got hit by the hurricanes 2 years ago, they wanted to donate their own money from their piggy banks to help the people down there. They tithe regularly to our churches on their own, and they put the needs of others before them, okay? I know I'm bragging about my kids, okay? But what can I say? I'm a proud dad, simply put. So these guys are going to say good night because I kept them up just for you all HOSA members, but it is definitely bedtime for them. So you can all say good night, HOSA. Say good night, HOSA. Good night. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you guys in a little bit, okay? I love you. I'll see you guys in a little bit. You got your airplane. So what happened with my dad will always be part of me, as you can hear him screaming out the room. But I'm not going to let it define my future. So HOSA, be the coffee bean. Transform the world around you. Don't wait for change to happen. You can go out and you can make it happen. You get to take back control of your own lives. You get to own it, and you get to be the coffee bean. I want to thank you all so much for joining me and being part of this virtual state leadership conference. And I can't wait to join you all next year as your announcer backstage. You all can follow me on Instagram at Jim Van Allen, VANALLAN. And I love interacting with my HOSA members at Jim Van Allen. Hey, it's your time. Believe that.
Now, wasn't that fantastic? Let's give another round of applause to Mr. Jim Van Allen. Thank you for inspiring us with that message and leading us tonight here at Florida HOSA. Madam President-elect, do you have any conference announcements?
Yes. Advisors, please remember that Jim Van Allen has a workshop just for you tomorrow at 4 p.m. And everyone else, don't forget the recognition session will be streaming at 7 p.m. The business session will be live streamed starting at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. Official voting delegates will need to participate in the Zoom session starting at 9:30 a.m.
Madam President-elect, have you a record of any new business which should be transacted at this time?
I have none, Madam President.
Does any member know of any further business that should properly come before this meeting? Ladies and gentlemen, as we go forth through this conference, let us keep in mind our conference theme, Unlock Your Potential. Now, normally at this time, I would be telling you what time curfew is and to please be respectful of your hotel guests. But this year, I wanted to thank you all for being here tonight to keep the spirit of Florida HOSA alive. Seeing no other business, I hereby say goodnight, and we look